Republican lawmakers are accusing Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul of allowing out-of-state interest groups to fund prosecutors within the Wisconsin Department of Justice. The Senate Special Committee on Oversight held a hearing today to question Kaul about the use of special assistant attorneys general. Committee members say these attorneys are paid by a center funded by billionaire Michael Bloomberg rather than Wisconsin taxpayers. During the hearing, Kaul admitted the DOJ entered into an agreement to employ these attorneys within the Environmental Protection Unit. Republicans claim these volunteer attorneys wield the full power of the state to prosecute businesses while answering to private donors. The committee plans to issue a final report and recommendations by mid-April.